Okay, welcome Mad TV viewers. We've got Clubby over in the Philippines for the world launch of the CF Moto 450 MT. And he is peaking to tell us all about it, and I'm peaking to listen. Clubby, talk to us. You've ridden this thing today. Tell me about it.
Well, the first thing I want to say, Dave, is that CF Moto Australia, they tell us that they've already sold several hundred of these bikes sight unseen.
Wow.
All right, they're not even on sale in Australia yet. No one's been able to sit on one, touch one, feel one.
Yes.
And all I want to say to all those several hundred people is, guys, girls, you're not going to regret your decision. For $9,000, you've all poked down, less than $9,000. It's a whole lot of adventure motorcycle for under $9,000. You know, brand new, and it's trailblazing a new category of adventure riding, isn't it? With that 450cc twin cylinder engine. And I think, yep, first thing I wanted to say to everyone is you're going to be stoked with the money that you put down for this bike and the value for money that you're going to get for sure.
It's a staggering price, and it really throws the cat amongst the pigeons in that 450 lineup, doesn't it? It's amazing. It looks really good from.
That's right, exactly right, Dave. You know, so you've got this brand new bike, 450 twin, and then you've got the Royal Enfield, the Himalayan 450, which is a single, exactly the same price. That one's also pre-sold a stack load as well. So it's like these two new bikes all happening in what we call the small bore adventure bike class, yet the two players have come from a different angle, haven't they? Between a single cylinder motor and this one with a twin cylinder engine.
Yeah, well, we could froth on all day, but I think it's best how many Ks did you do on it today?
Oh, we did nearly 200 kilometres, okay? So I think what people need to understand is where we are.
Yeah.
And if I start spinning the camera around this way, you can see the luxury 5-star resort behind me that we're at. But the question is, where is this luxury 5-star resort? And if I keep spinning around this way to under these beautiful, gorgeous trees, you'll start to see a sunset going down over the beach out there. And it's an island called El Nido, which is off the coast of the Philippines. So we flew to Manila to come here to this resort. So a confined island, yet the riding was a big mix of tarmac, sort of hillside, undulating country rocks, like endless sections of fire trail type riding, twin track through all the hills. It's very mountainous, very steep. And then we ended up this afternoon at what they call Adventure Park, which was more like a moto park, really, for ATVs, dirt bikes, and adventure bikes. And that was a whole lot of fun and games to finish up there, Dave, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So the kind of riding, yeah, probably 200 kilometres max, a mix of tarmac, a mix of gravel, a mix of fire trails, and then the adventure park as well, which was pure off-road. So in its own way, it turned out to be quite a good venue to ride and experience the bikes, mate. With it, along with all the immaculate scenery that's going to come up in all the video footage that's been shot as well.
Well, I'm looking at those specs in front of me, and we're not going to be spec sheet peepers. We're just going to go off what your gut feelings are. You've ridden 1 million bikes over your huge career, and, you know, you're going to be able to give it to us. You know, we can bang off a few specs, but I think it's better for you just to talk about it. Tell me about the ergos.
Okay, so the first impressions, the minute I walked up to it this morning, you know, I arrived here early this morning on the day of the ride, had a couple of kerfuffles getting here yesterday with flight connections, but you get that on some of these international jaunts. So I've rolled up to the bike this morning. They've had this is how big CF Moto is treating this bike. They've had 180 different media representatives here over the past week. We're in the second group, so we've had about nearly 90 media reps in the 4 groups that rode today. They're taking it very seriously, CF Moto. They know what business has got to be done. So I've rolled up to it this morning, and the first impression I had was, oh, wow, this thing's actually bigger and more substantial, but I say that not in a bad way, than what I expected. You know, everyone thinks of a 450, you straight away think of 450cc single cylinder bikes. This one, of course, is actually wider in the very midsection of the bike where your knees rest against it when you're standing. And then the tank, it's a 17.5 litre fuel tank, a lot bigger than what I expected it to be, much wider. So the bike's actually more substantial, more like a traditional 650 to even 700, 800 type size adventure bike, then I was thinking it would be smaller, thinner, leaner. So that was the first impression with regards to the ergos. The other aspect of this bike, the seat height. It's adjustable between 800 and 820 millimeters, which is super, super low, and the old classic rider triangle in terms of your ergos between your bum, your feet, and your handlebars, it's actually quite confined, quite small. And I would make the call right now. I'm 5'10", 179 centimeters in the modern day language. They have an optional flatter rally seat. I'd want that just to get the seat up higher, to make that ergonomic sort of profile more comfortable for me, to answer that first question, mate. So it feels like a full size bike, even though it's only, in inverted commas, a 450.
What's the standing position like?
Standing position, as I said, it was a little bit wider between my knees than what I expected, and the foot pegs, they're not a bad size, but I definitely want to have longer foot pegs as well to make that more comfortable. And I would also suggest that the standard handlebars have got a low rise and a sweep back. I think you'll find that, again, people over my height will benefit from certainly rotating the standard bars forward, if not replacing them with bars with a little bit more rise in them, just to open up that cockpit and in relation to where your bum is on the bike and also where your feet are, just to give it a little bit more space there for taller riders, for sure.
So while we're focusing on the ergos and that, it's pretty beefy, 175 kilograms empty. But how did you feel the weight on the bike when you're turning and riding it in dirt and tar and stuff like that?
Okay, you're gonna. Okay, 175 is the spec they list as the dry weight.
Yeah.
So speaking with the CF MOTO boffins, they're quoting, and then fill the tank, fill the engine with oil. It's gonna come.
Oh, hang on, Clubby. Hang on, Clubby.
200 kegs, 200 kg, 450. It's light. It's getting up there almost to the weight of.
Hang on, Clubby.
Right,
stop.
How's that signal going?
Yes.
Communications, are we breaking up?
Yeah, we did break up there. So I got none of that. So I'm going to ask you the question again. So, Clubby, the bike is 175 kilograms dry weight. Tell us what it weighs, fuel full, oil full, and how did it feel both on the tar and on the tracks?
Yeah, cracking up again. Okay, so the quote from all the CF Moto tech guys is: once you fill the tank, once you fill the engine with oil, you're going to come in just under 200 kilos.
Oh.
Okay, which is not a light figure for a 450.
No.
Are we right, Dave? You're hearing that, mate?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but then to ride, okay, I wouldn't say it feels heavy, but it doesn't feel light like a traditional 450 single. Okay, people that think, oh, it's a 450, it's going to be light. It's not. But then what you also have with it, and what's a big thing in the bike's benefit, your bum is so low down when you're riding the bike. Your rider weight is low, and that helps to keep the overall center of gravity low. But then that said, the top of the fuel tank is above the top triple clamp, the steering stem nut. So there's a little bit of height there. I wouldn't say it felt outrageously top heavy. No way. The only time that became a thought or an issue was at the end of the day when we were at the adventure park and we were riding really sandy, gravelly, and I mean like up to sort of 6 to 8 inches deep gravel on a winding, twisting, twin trail, I guess you'd describe it, through some of the hills here. Only then did you start to notice that, yes, this is a bike that weighs 200 kilograms in sand and twisting uphill technical type sand riding.
Okay, I'm going to keep
for general adventure riding, but you won't call it a heavy bike.
Okay, keep focusing on ergos for a while. How's that seat comfort?
The seat comfort was really good, but again, Dave, like I said, I would opt for the flat, higher rally seat just to get my bum and my weight when I'm seated a little bit higher to give me more room for my legs in terms of the ergonomics for the rider.
Okay, windshield.
Okay, it's cool. It's pretty compact. I'll come over closer to the bike. This one has been fitted with the accessory touring screen. Okay, it's much larger. The standard screen is...
Oh, I've lost you.
Great. Easy to use, two hands. You need.
Hang on.
Oh, no, one hand. There you
Stop.
go.
Clubby.
Yep.
Stop and start again. I completely lost you. So I'm just going to ask you that question again. So how's the screen?
Yep. All right. The standard screen, this is the accessory rally touring screen, which you can see is much taller than the standard one. The standard screen has these little winglets on it, like this, but then cuts in a much tighter, closer profile, smaller profile for off-road riding. So you're not risking hitting your head there with it. Yeah, it was more than adequate, Dave, but if you're going to be touring riding, this is definitely going to be a beneficial accessory for sure, the larger touring screen. And it's easily accessible, adjustable by hand with the adjusters up here on the screen that can actually just click through position, up, down, through six or seven settings. It is easily hand adjustable, mate.
Okay. Engine power dynamics.
Okay, so it's really interesting, the motor on this one. It's really hard to describe. Like, okay, it's a twin cylinder, 270-degree crank. Think of the T7 and think of a 450cc version of the T7.
Okay.
That's what it comes in like. It sounds like a T7. It feels like a T7. But it doesn't have the power of a T7, obviously, only being a 450cc machine. You know, it's a fun motor. It's an easy motor to ride. The gearing is kind of interesting in that we didn't use first gear a lot. It's like it's geared quite tall. And then it's also happy to keep revving all the way up to the red line, which is over 9,000 RPM. And it'll just, you know, you'll often look down and you're already up third, fourth gear through, like, say, on twisty, winding tarmac. Yet the thing is easily pulling it, and it's more. And at 4,000, it just really starts to work. So it's got no problem with revving. And look, it's fun, but you got to still come back to the fact that it's only, in inverted commas, a 450. All right, so it's no raging powerhouse. I think the stat sheet's 44
Newton
kWs.
meters.
You know, which, yeah, okay, that's not a, you know, that's a fine power figure, but it's still only, in inverted commas, a 450, but a twin cylinder 450, if that makes sense, Dave.
Okay, let's go to the frame now. And a couple of things there. 21-inch front, which is good.
Connection.
Yep.
Oh.
Hello?
Yep.
You got me?
Talk about suspension, mate. That was the other interesting aspect of the bike.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, we want, you know, the suspension is the other factor that people are going to be so curious about. A lot of people already on your channel, on your, you know, your community page, have been asking about it. And I guess the way I'd rate it again is, you know, you got to remember, I'm packing 100 kegs, and yeah, we like to push on in the dirt. Yeah, you know, a lot of Aussie guys are definitely going to benefit from increased spring rates, front and back. You know, the three Aussie boys, you know, I'm here with Damien Ashenhurst and Wayne Vickers, and we like off-road riding. We love pushing on in the bush for sure. And you know, by the first morning smoko stop, we were asking the techie guys to boost the spring preload on the rear shock, just crank it up firmer, and then also you have to work the compression damping that's available on the shock, and then also on the front fork as well, just to give that a boost up, mate, like we do with nearly every bike these days, mate, isn't it, that we do? Otherwise, you know, the suspension's going to be more than adequate, yeah, for the majority of riders for sure. But those guys that want to push on in the dirt harder and who want to definitely do long-distance touring, loaded up, hard speed, bigger hits, are definitely going to also be looking at spring rates. But I think that's probably something to be expected on a bike like this, and a bike also at this price, keep remembering, guys.
Yeah. So what can you do on them? Compression, rebound, preload. What are the things you can alter on your suspension straight off?
Cracking up, mate.
I'll say again.
Gotcha. You there, mate?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Sorry. Start again, mate. Start again. I missed all that, Dave. Start again.
Okay. With this, With the suspension, preload, rebound, what has it got?
Yeah, yeah, okay, adjustable, okay, on the shock, adjustable preload and adjustable compression, and then up on the front, you've got adjustable preload and then adjustable damping as well there as well, mate. So it's got some adjustability for sure to play with, exactly.
So what I thought I'd do now...
And yeah, use it. You know, we did... Yeah.
No, you go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you got the adjustability, guys. Use it. You know, we did 4 clicks all round on every setting that's available to us. Increase that to make the action firmer, and it definitely did that, mate. It definitely resulted in a change for the positive for sure. Definitely.
Okay, so before we go on to, I just wanted to quickly go through the questions from subscribers.
You know what else surprised me, Dave? It's fitted with CF tires, and they look a lot like the rear. Looks a lot like a Pirelli.
Right.
Yep. You there, mate?
Yeah. So can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, go again, mate. Yep.
Okay. So a couple of things. I want to move towards the questions from subscribers in a minute. Tell me a couple of other things about the bike. I recognize it's got a 220 mil ground clearance. Is the pipe vulnerable? What's going on down below there? Are we going to have to get a bash plate?
Oh, absolutely, mate. The standard bike is fitted with just a plastic skid plate. All the press bikes were fitted up with the accessory alloy bash plate, and then also with the accessory alloy crash bars, upper and lower crash bars. Okay, CF MOTO, I've got all that sort of stuff happening already, and yes, you're going to need it. It's got it. The motor's got quite a deep sump, but at least on this bike, the sump is flat at the bottom. It's not like a deep shape down like say the Honda Transalp that we've all been screaming about. So yeah, you definitely want that. The other thing that's interesting about the frame design, the motor's hung as a stress member from the frame backbone, but it's also got then the support rails around the side, like a T7. I say that again, but then the bash plate and then also the crash bars then can be fitted too as well, mate.
Okay, well,
and remember, 21-inch front wheel, 18-inch rear.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of those questions from the subscribers.
Yeah, fire up, son. Yep, bring it on.
The weight of the bike's already been mentioned. The next question is, will it stand up to Australian conditions, and will it be undersprung for your average 90 to 100 kilogram kitted up Aussie? Yes, is the answer. Yep.
Mate, yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah, we just said that, Dave. I'm going to make that call. Yeah, undersprung for big pie eaters like us.
Okay, next question. It's simple. Does it have enough power?
Again, mate. You there?
Hello, can you hear me? Does it have enough power?
Yeah, go again. I've got your back again, mate. Got your back again.
Does it have enough power?
What if I move around this side? See if we get any better.
See, ask a question again.
I would say to you, it has. Yeah, I would say it has just enough power, Dave.
Okay.
Just enough power. Everyone's got to remember, it's a 450. It's not a 550. It's not a 650. It's not a 700. It's a 450. Yeah, it's got enough power, like I said, and it'll rev all the way up to the rev line. But yeah.
Okay. Build quality. What is the overall build quality?
Okay. Overall, it looks fine. But how are we going to answer that question, guys? You know, CF MOTO, as a reputation, has been getting better and better and better with their four-wheelers, their side-by-sides. They've got road bikes, they've got naked bikes, they've got sports bikes, touring bikes. It's just constantly on the improve. And I think this particular bike, it's been loaded with a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of technology from the brand. And it can only be for the better of the product long term. But how are we going to answer that question until this bike is in the market long term in real world long term applications? You know, how long is a piece of string, mate? It's a hard call to answer from one day of riding here.
Okay, I'm just going through these questions, Clubby.
You there, mate?
Please ensure Clubby is munching on a burger when he's summarising his...
Oh, rotten internet.
Are you there? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Please ensure...
No, missing you again, mate. Missing you again, mate.
Please ensure Clubby is munching on a hamburger when he summarizes.
Hamburger? No time for hamburger today, mate. Hey, it's riding today. It was like 1,000 degrees centigrade and 900% humidity. It's like the jungle over here, mate. We were sweating like racehorses, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, no time for hamburger, guys. But I'll be getting into that tonight at dinner when we finish
Next
this up.
question. How would it behave as a daily commuter?
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. No issues there whatsoever. You know, it's got a good frontal area, protection from the weather. The standard screen is adequate. A rally screen's available. Standard commuter, no issue at all. Why? What's not to work on it? Yeah, no issue that one day. No issue.
How does it now? You have ridden the Himalayan 450. How does it compare to that?
Oh, it's really different, mate. Like the motors are chalk and cheese. That's the thing. You know, they're similar in weight, but they're a very different ride. Like I would say that the Himalayan maybe feels smaller, feels lower, feels lighter to ride, even though the spec sheets are going to be quite similar actually in their weights as such. Yeah, what I'd say, actually, here's the way to summarize it. I'd suggest that the Himalayan, more trail and dual sport to ride. This bike, the MT 450 CF Moto, more adventure bike to ride, if that makes sense, Dave, as a summary.
Yep. Where's the air filter? How easy is it to get to?
Okay, so the air filter, the seat pops off with the key. The snorkel and the top of the airbox are right below the back of the fuel tank. Okay, the very rear of the fuel tank. There's 2 screws below the snorkel and on the back of the box. Unfortunately, and I was so detuned today that we couldn't get because of the getting back here, the schedule to get back here. The tank has to be lifted and more screws taken off the top of the airbox. It looks like it's close, but I'm not going to call it that it's a cigar yet until someone gives us the top of the airbox off. You know, the snorkel's at the rear of the tank under the seat, but then the airbox definitely goes up under the fuel tank. So no, sorry, pissed off that I can't answer that question directly.
Okay. Well, you've finished all the questions. There's a couple of repeats there. You wouldn't have worked out fuel economy, or maybe you have, I don't know. Fuel economy?
Oh, look, mate, every now and then I flick down to the fuel usage, fuel average, you know, the fuel consumption figure, and I saw figures hovering between 4.2 up to 6.3. So I'm going to take an average of that, the old 5 litres per 100 kilometres. So what's that, about 20 kilometres per litre? And I'd say that's going to come in average. But again, mate, you know, no, I can't give you the straight answer other than that from seeing some info that was displayed on the dial. It's got a cool little 5-inch TFT screen. Another point that we should make, Dave, is that the ABS and traction control can all be switched off with one button that's on the dash. You can switch it off while you're on the fly. You've got to be stopped to switch it back on if you want. But just bear in mind that, okay, the ABS turns off fully at the rear, still active at the front. You know, it's not a bad front ABS, but this afternoon up in the deep gravel, up in the adventure park, did notice some pulsing there from the front ABS in true off-road conditions, but I've still working, even though you could feel the front ABS pulsing there, even with the off switch enacted on the handlebar.
So in summary, then, there's a lot of people in Australia who've put their money down for this, and they look like they're going to be pretty pleased.
Oh, mate, they're going to be absolutely stoked, Dave, you know. And I think it's going to be interesting to find out the demographic of those few hundred that have already put the money down. I'm going to probably make a call that I reckon a lot of them are older dudes, 60 and up, that have already got big multi-cylinder bikes, but then have an appeal for a smaller multi-cylinder bike. Okay, and this you know hits that brief every day of the week. It's not necessarily a very much lighter, smaller, multi-cylinder adventure bike, but it's going to be exactly what they think. And then I think the other buyers, the other big part of that demographic that's bought the auto riders, be they male or female, that want that low seat height, that want that, you know, ability to reach the ground of a multi-cylinder bike. And it's going to also, the price, the big thing, Dave, is the price is going to bring people into adventure riding again. This bike and the Royal Enfield, it's ripping good value for a brand new motorbike. $9 grand right away. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. This is a great time for learning to adventure ride. Well, mate, thanks so much for joining us. Final question: when does the bike actually arrive in Australia, and those punters are going to get their bikes in their hands?
Okay, so those first few hundred that have bought the bike, first deliveries are next month, so that's April. And apparently then, you know, that first shipment, well, the guys from CF MOTO say is a limited shipment, and then massive shipment comes in before the end of June. And apparently all those pre-orders are going to be filled by the end of June. So, yeah, it's not far away at all, mate. Not far away at all.
All right. Now, but just before you go, what I want you to do is get behind the screen and just slowly go up to the bike and show us a couple of bits close up without your ugly dial in there. Just put the bike in there. Show us around the bike. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Getting to you. Can you see anything there, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, right. Yep.
Too dark, mate? I haven't got a key in this bike. I can't even turn it on for you. Bugger it.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, mate, I think we'll give up on that.
Yeah,
it's
getting
just
dark, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Clubby, so much.
Yeah, getting dark, mate.
Look, we did our best.
I think I can hear the marking up over there. Hey,
I got to go. I'm running out of time.
One last look at the sunset over here. It's pretty good.
Mate, it's running out of time. I've got to go. I'll see you soon.
All right, Dave. Really good to talk to you, brother. I'll be back in Aussie in a couple of days, mate. I think we've got to go riding again somewhere, don't we?
We do. See you, mate. Bye.
Okay, catch you, mate.